When a high school basketball player says something offensive on TikTok, the Vermont Press Corps jumps into action. But when prominent members of Vermont's BIPOC community accuse the Vermont Climate Council, the body charged with nothing less than restructuring our economy to save the planet, of racial tokenism perpetuating their own privilege and white supremacy, not a single story. But here's what happened.
Yes, as a member of the Ag Ecosystem and Biomass Task Force and Life Cycle Analysis Committee, I'm beginning to feel like the bastard child. Could you please tell me if there are any BIPOC members on Just Transition and Climate Council?
In those meetings, I am a member of the Vermont Renew's BIPOC Advisory Council. We must share our collective disappointment in the state's failure to implement its stated commitments to center racial justice and equity as observed through the following actions. Now, the Climate Council to date has not made progress towards ensuring adequate representation of frontline communities, BIPOC, low-income, rural youth, etc., in the council membership. Many appointed members choose to remain in their positions rather than identify representatives from communities most impacted by climate change, which does not reflect the intentions laid out in the adopted Just Transition guidelines. As a reminder, this power differential upholds white supremacy by segregating BIPOC into advisory roles. Our concern is the perpetuation of our exploitation by placing additional demands on frontline communities to do work on behalf of the state without adequate compensation, resources, or authority to make impactful decisions. Furthermore, members of the Renew's BIPOC Council have been tokenized at these subcommittee meetings, resulting in at least one individual withdrawing from a committee. And I'm actually referencing myself in that, and I love to speak about my own experience there. Throughout the biennium, BIPOC and other individuals at the intersection of marginalization, including members of the Renew's BIPOC Council, who worked with legislators to develop bills, offered testimony, and advocated for legislation, reported condescending, confrontational, and dismissive responses to their involvement in the public process. We deserve to have a state house that is accessible, inclusive, and respectful to all members of the public. Our involvement and demands of the public process should not be met with hostility, while other voices are invited into the process freely and regularly. Because one time I was requested, or I was nominated to sit on one of these subcommittees, and it was so tokenizing in the way that they seemed to say, we just need a BIPOC person for these subcommittees.
She's exactly right. What you're doing with these recommendations from the Biomass Task Force feels totally like I was only there as a token. And what I had to say about all of those people who fall into the categories of being impacted by biomass, it is outrageous. You cannot keep excluding. We have a voice. You can't only say you hear us. You have to listen to our voices. This is getting out of hand with this committee.
Thanks, Judy.